I don't hear anything.
You don't hear anything?
Way
It
to
starts
test
like this.
being a
It
month off.
starts like this. Hold on. Did I check that? Yeah, I see. How about now? Do you hear this now?
Deep State Squid Monster on the run.
Good morning. It's been like 7 months since we've been able to do the show.
It hasn't been
Guys.
long.
Not. I thought you were very much in favor of exaggeration.
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't figure out how to make this public on Facebook.
You don't have to worry about that. That's completely fine with me.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Jason. That's Deacon. We are Internet Dads, and I've been on vacation. I was on vacation for most of last week, and if you're a working person and you go on vacation, generally, when you get back from vacation, everything has gone wrong, and so then you have to fix everything that went wrong during vacation. Makes vacation like what's the word for like it's like sweet and sour, you know what I mean? Bittersweet.
Yeah.
A little bit bittersweet. Yeah. So I've been fixing a lot of stuff for the last few days, and I've had conference calls that were scheduled at the same time that we normally do this, so I wasn't able to do this, but I believe that's ending, and next week we should be able to do most of the days, although I have to take my kid to a doctor's appointment like next Wednesday.
Most of them.
Most of the days. Also, I don't have a car right now.
Yeah, some folks are wondering. Explain what happened on that real quick.
So about a month ago, about a month and 6 days ago, my wife was in a car accident, and she was the third car in a 4-car pileup. And so somebody hit her, and she pushed into somebody else. And
everybody's insurance was like, no, it's their fault. No, it's their fault.
Yeah. It was definitely a cluster F. And Allstate finally acknowledged that the person who ran into the back end person at full speed was maybe responsible. They finally kind of acknowledged that. And of all the cars in the accident, as far as I know, only my car was totaled. So or my wife's car, it was my car until she stole it from me. But so my car's totaled, and they pay out, the property claim. I don't know how much people have to, do you ever wonder about this, Deke? How much people have experience dealing with incidents like this, dealing with insurance? Like normally
they rely on that. They rely on the fact that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. I mean, look, we've talked about it before. Like, insurance commercials have the best jingles, but that business is like, it very much relies on, like, you don't know what you're doing, and if they can get over on you, they will get over on you. Yeah. They will. And it's not even insidious. It's not, and I want to be like kind of clear about this. It's not like it's evil. In our case, there's 4 cars. Each agency is only looking out for their own interest, for their own client. Nobody is looking out for like the good of the whole thing of what happened. It's like my client wasn't responsible, so we deny. Or my client was responsible, but somebody else was responsible, so we're gonna like minimize our exposure. And in a certain regard, that's good, because your insurance agency is like, kind of looking out for you. But there's also some negative aspects of it. But there's not another way for it to work. So I learned some stuff during this whole process that maybe doesn't apply in your state of Kentucky, but it definitely applies in in Texas. So, I'm sorry if this is boring though. If this is boring, tell me to stop.
Oh, I mean, the plethora of viewers are finding insurance talk within the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah,
What?
you're right. That's not cool. How about what's up? What have you been doing?
I just wanted to make sure your wife was okay. You said that the car was totaled out.
Yeah.
And they wasn't going to offer you a lot of money, to buy a new car, because even pre-owned cars are ridiculous in prices.
It's not
Ridiculous.
yeah, there's not great options, but we're trying to make the best decision with resources that we have and the opportunity or options that we have. And I don't know how it's going to go yet, but so I guess what I was going to kind of like say is that anytime you're in a car accident like this, there's at least two, maybe there's more kinds of claims. There's the property damage, which is the vehicle, and then there's like the personal damage, which is like you got hurt. Maybe things are more complicated than that, but insurance companies handle them separately. So they already resolved the property. They're like, yeah, we're responsible, and they paid us for the property. Not nothing, but not enough.
Right. Yeah, you didn't get.
And it's like, oh, well, was your car worth more? No, our car wasn't worth more. But you know what? Our car was totally paid off, and we didn't have a car payment, and it totally worked great. And now we have no car and a little bit of money that cannot buy a new car.
And a car payment in the future.
No, well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to finance.
I don't blame you. I always looked for, if you can hold out to look for, and it seems like they would just, God provides. You would, hey, a friend of mine's mom passed away last month, and they're going to be selling her car. They want $6,000 for it, and you got $4,000.
Actually, that's pretty much exactly what happened with our other car.
Yeah,
which was there was this
cars.
I was doing all kinds of like searching of things, and I found a private seller that was selling a vehicle, and I went down and met him, and his dad had died, and he would rather drive his dad's truck than the car that he had, so he just sold it, and I picked it up like at a fair price, very good price.
Fair price, yeah. Instead of these overpriced pre-owned cars, you're getting a car that as soon as you drive, it's not worth $8,000, and you're paying $16,000 for a pre-owned car now.
Right.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, like, and the cars that you can get for like 12 or 13, 15, say, it's like, you can't fit 4 people in those cars. Not really. I mean, technically, yes, but like nobody's going to ride comfortable. Everybody's going to be cramped.
Yeah, I forget. You're in that mode to where your kids are young and you have 4. Your vehicle, I remember distinctly when I was getting and looking at cars, because I had this little Nissan Sentra that I got in 99. It was a 99 Sentra. I got it in 99. I drove it for 13 years. And as soon as I traded it in, I was pissed that I traded it in because it was still getting like 35 miles to the gallon. It was a great car, but it was a little bitty car that I had when I was single. And I needed a car that I could get some car seats in the back and was comfortable getting out and didn't have to do this. I wanted a 4-door is what I wanted.
Right.
And I remember that's what, when I was looking for a car, it wasn't, I've got to have cruise control and I've got to have this. It's got to fit my children inside safely. That's what I was me and Ashley just 2 weeks ago, our kids are older. Hey, our kids are older and they have got their license. They have got all their own friends and stuff that they do and jobs. And Ashley and I find that we have a lot of time, to ourselves that we did not have when the kids were younger. And this is brand new.
What age does that start?
Like 15, 16, 16.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Maggie is 13 and she's pretty independent, but they're still running to and fro. Alex has his own car. Kendra has her own car. They got their jobs and stuff. So me and Ashley are like, So anyway, we went to the Mexican restaurant, and sitting there was one of those little smart cars, one of those little one. And I've seen them around town before. And I asked her, we pulled in and I asked her, I said, do you like that? Would you drive that? She's like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And she was saying this. And she's a realtor. She has a lot of stuff that she has to keep up with and signs and do all this stuff. She needs a lot of room. And I said, I would absolutely drive that because now I don't have to worry about a child seat. I don't have to worry about that. My kids have their own cars. I just need another seat. And I only go from home to work, home to work, home to work.
Commuter, a daily
Yeah, I
driver.
said if I had this, it would be
He just
perfect.
he doesn't want to have a gas bill.
Oh, I haven't told him yet. I haven't told him. I just told him that we were doing that. We had a
No, but I'm
insurance.
just saying, like, that smart car doesn't have a gas.
Yeah,
bill.
what's the gas like on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never looked into anything like that.
Oh,
I just looked into the wow, I would drive one of those.
You would consider it.
I would get it wrapped like those Tonka cars that are like
You do get like extra big wheels, so it looks like a Hot Wheels, maybe.
I would do something to make myself stand out. Because I work at the radio station. People coming by the radio station, oh, there's Andy. That would be a little bit of extra oomph for my personality, you know.
Yeah, and you could maybe put the company like station
if I
on it, and then
put the company logo on it, I wonder if they'd pay for it.
Well, they may pay for it or not, but you can deduct that stuff from your taxes. Business expense.
We might have to ask about that.
Unreimbursed business expense.
And if there's a law against it or something, my boss and owner is a state representative.
Fix this law.
We can fix that.
I also, can you give me a raise? Okay, so I learned. So I was going to say I've learned some interesting stuff about insurance, and this doesn't apply everywhere. But in Texas, there's something called a Stowers demand. A Stowers demand. It's named after a case, and like a case from like 1929 in Texas. And this is the way a Stowers demand works. If you write a letter to the insurance company, like if they're not really dealing with you too well and they're not like being forthcoming, which they aren't, and they're not responsive, which they aren't, you can write, in Texas anyway, you can write a Stowers demand. The Stowers demand essentially says, I want, you make a demand for how much you want. In the smartest case, you say, I want $1 million. I want the lesser of $1 million or whatever's left in the policy limits. You don't have to know the policy limits. You just say, I want the policy limits or $1 million, whichever is less. And the policy limit's always less. So you're making, but you give them an option where they get to make a good choice, and they have 14 days to respond. If they don't respond, then in addition to any other lawsuits, you can sue for them not acting in good faith in Texas under the Stowers demand. And courts in my area and judges in my area like always side with the whoever's filing the Stowers demand. And if you didn't get a response, then you can win. So like there's all kinds of things, but I wouldn't know this unless I happen to know a guy. I happen to know a guy that works in insurance, and he was like, well, you can also like send a Stowers demand. If you get a lawyer involved, right? Like, oh, I got a claim or whatever, and they're not doing anything. I need a lawyer. Okay. So they'll make the demand go up, but the lawyer gets a third and the doctors get a third, and you only get a third of you only get 1/3 of whatever's left.
Yeah, but more than likely, I would assume that the insurance company have lawyers on retainer and stuff. So they're
sure. Yeah.
So it's not like,
yeah,
here's your job for today.
If it goes to trial, they take a risk, but
well, there's all kinds of things like that you can do. I mean, I saw a video not too long ago, and I was like, I've seen videos like this, but it was a guy. It wasn't a sponsored video or anything, but it was a guy saying, you know, I used to work in this industry and blah, 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 blah. And he was talking about insurance and saying how most of, if you go and do it yourself, You can
Yeah.
save yourself a lot of money because if you go to one of these agents and whatnot, and these agencies and whatnot, they are getting like 70 to 80% is of what you pay is their markup fees. And that's what you get. And so I was like, I don't know if I buy this or not. But this other video was talking about how
It's
if
complicated.
if you like the debt collectors and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and there is certain things that you can ask for, and I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, that you can ask for the debt collector that is by law, you can ask them to do to prove this and give you a statement of this and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of debt collectors cannot do that. And you just have to do these certain things. But these are all, I'm giving examples of things that are legal and are
Right.
fine print stuff that if you read through that legalese fine print, it's going to be right there. And no one does it. They just hit agree. And then people are wondering why. I think a new one here lately, last month or so, I was seeing some Twitter, some articles and stuff about, because I follow different stuff and video game. I try to keep up with certain video games and whatnot and read about the technology and stuff, what's going around in video games.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how just for a brief moment, there were several articles about the down, like in our world now, more than likely, if you play on a computer or PlayStation or whatever console, you're downloading your games. Most of your games are downloaded games. They're
Okay.
not physical copies. Physical copy games are very rare for the younger kids to buy anymore. Only the older people like us and collectors and stuff get the physical copies. Downloadable games are more than likely where it's at, because
Right.
if your console gets stolen, you get a new console, there's your game again. You didn't get all your games stolen. You know,
Okay.
one example. But also what's been going on, and these kids are complaining about it, is they're just getting rid of the games. You don't have it anymore. Or it's not available in your little plan. You know, you've got this whatever PlayStation plan. You've
Yeah.
got access to 500 games. Well, you've got one of the games that you've downloaded and are playing, like Grand Theft Auto 5 was one of the games. And recently, PlayStation's had it up for free for years. And now they've taken it down. And so if you already had it downloaded, you're like, oh, that's all right. They took it down. I've already got it downloaded. It don't work. You just got to delete it. You will have to go. Yeah. And that's what they do. And these people were complaining, and these other people are like, you didn't read the fine print. You didn't read the fine print. It says right there in the fine print. And I even commented on this one Twitter post. I was like, this is nothing new. Open up a PlayStation 2 game and get out the insert and read the fine print, because a long time ago, me and my buddies had this very same conversation, because in the fine print on the inserts on those old video games, if you read that fine print, it said in legalese, because this is what we used to joke, they could come over and knock on your door and say, hi, I'm EA. I want your Maddens. Those are mine. You bought a physical copy to borrow, basically, is what that legally always said. People just didn't read it. So let's circle all the way back to the insurance thing where you're talking about. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do and they can do, and you sign your rights away. I always hate when you see the terms and conditions, and right near the top is we do this at the radio stations too. We reserve the right at the radio stations. It would be different in other companies, but at the radio stations, we say in our contest rules, we reserve the right to change the rules at any time.
Right. That
gives us the right to basically say, this contest that you've been playing for a month that we've been giving away $1 million. Well, on this last day, we've decided not to give away $1 million. We're going to give away $100. The FCC require the law requires us to run our contest rules.
But that's a good way to get like
hours.
bad.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty rough.
No. You're exactly right. But legal wise,
yeah,
it would be a legal battle. You can see somebody suing the crap out of something like that. But always try to read the fine print. I don't always read the fine print, but on certain things, I will catch myself being like, no, I want to see what this does. There's been all kinds of stories like that where people on Facebook people from America have gone over to like Sweden or India or somewhere like that. And there was that woman and her family on a billboard in India or China or wherever she was. And she looked into it and whatnot. Well, you clicked on the little thing there that was, which Smurf are you? And congratulations, you're stupid Smurf, because when you clicked that, you signed away all your rights to everything on your page. You just didn't read it.
So back to your video game stuff a little bit. The reason these games can disappear is because like PlayStation say. Well, PlayStation has, I mean, I don't know PlayStation, but we'll say PlayStation or Epic Games or GOG or Steam or whatever. They are a distributor. They are a intermediary, and if they don't have the license to distribute the game anymore, so when I don't know, God of War, whatever, whoever owns God of War, if they're like, you guys can license to distribute for like a year, and then when that runs out, they can't.
Just like the streaming services, right? Exactly. Yeah. I understand that, but that's not what they're doing sometimes,
right? I swear, dude, I do not know how to use Facebook. Like, not even one little bit.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. I don't care.
Yeah, but I want it to work, and then I don't want to look at it anymore. I don't understand.
Dave's been on a big journey.
Yeah, he went to the UK, didn't he?
Yeah, went to Ireland.
Ireland.
He had a really interesting story. I'll let him tell it when he gets back. Hopefully he'll be here Monday or Tuesday. I have been, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons player for 35 years. And a buddy of mine who owns a coffee shop here locally, we'd been toying with the idea of doing a D&D night. So he's kind of like me, and he just kind of was like, we're doing it next Thursday. A couple weeks ago, he's like, we're doing it next Thursday. I was like, what? He's like, if I don't do it, if I don't make a date, I won't ever do it. I was like, okay. So, shit, I've been playing the wrong thing. Oh, well, screw it. And so we've had 2 Dungeons and Dragons nights, with crits and coffee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And, the first night we had, 2 full tables, 12 people. So we had 2 games running at the same time. Me and my buddy who owns the coffee shop, we're both DMs. And then last night we had 6 people show up. So we had 1 game, and I've had these little one shots that I've created that we've been running people through and whatnot. I've been reconverting our game that I had made for me and you and Dave.
Yeah.
I took that idea and copied it onto another thing, and I've kind of I'm depersonalizing it from the Internet Dads. This copy. Okay. I've got the copy that's the Internet Dad's copy, but I've got the copy that
that was like really like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, but like 30 years later, right?
Yeah. And that's what I was going to do with these. If I can get a consistent group coming in, we could do little episodes. Every Thursday night we would do an episode, and it would be a real quick little thing that lasts a couple of hours. And it's been fun. It's been fun. And a couple of the kids last night that were leaving, I was leaving, and they were walking in front of me, and I heard that one kid tell his sister, it was her first time. She was 12. She was sitting there, and they were like, no, grab a character and play. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, we'll help you. And we helped her, and she had fun. And as we were all leaving, they were in front of me, and I heard him say, so did you have fun? She was like, yeah, that was really fun. I'd like to come back. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel good,
That's awesome.
Me that's been doing it for almost 40 years, and trying to teach these young kids how awesome it is. And this girl that is playing about the same time that I started, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it was really cool. I really like that.
Neat. That's neat. That's neat.
Yep. So I haven't been writing any stories or anything. I've paused on one of the stories that I was writing.
Hey, what about your books? How's your books going?
That's what I'm talking about. I'm paused on a story. I've got the one that is done. I need to get them a proof sent to me so that I can actually look through every page and the cover and the spine and everything and make sure it looks good. See if it needs anything else. But that one will soon be available for a physical copy purchase.
So you need to, I mean, we talked about this before. You can't just release this stuff. You've got to make like an event when you release this stuff, you know? You got to like publicize it so that when it drops, you get like a bunch of people on day one. That helps you,
Yeah.
you know, succeed.
I don't know anything about that crap.
Man, I want you to be, you know, not only make books, but like people read them. I want people to read them.
This, if you like fantasy, or if you like, it's fantasy, there's comedy, there's some touching stories. They're little fantasy short stories.
Yeah.
If you like fantasy, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, role playing, that kind of stuff, you'll like these stories. These stories are designed. The whole purpose of me even writing these stories, the whole idea came from when we play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
When you're going through, there's all the big stuff, the rolling to hit and the trying to dodge and all the big stuff. But there's these little bitty rolls that you do sometimes. Like I'll say you're walking through, you know, you're like, okay, I want to try to see if this shopkeeper will come down on this sword a little bit. 20 gold pieces is quite a lot. You know, I want to see if I can go down. I would say, we'll roll a persuasion check, you know, and then you would roll the die. And that's all it is, oh, you rolled really high. Okay. You persuaded him. And then this is what happened. A good DM won't just say that. A good DM will kind of act it out. So these stories are to help these people that just kind of say, okay, you passed. He says 10 gold pieces. It's to kind of help them. The whole little short story is about the persuasion check. And it's about you walking in, seeing this, blah, blah, blah. This happens. You fail the check. The guy goes higher. You know, something happens amusing in the small check. It's just to tell how the story of how the smallest little things or every little thing in the game can be a whole story in itself. It's there, and there's 20 of them. There's actually 30 something of them if you get into their backstories.
Are you going to publish this? You're going to publish this? How big is it going to be?
Huh?
How many pages?
227.
You're going to do a physical copy of this?
Yeah. I've got to get a proof sent to me. It costs $3.61, I think. I just got to get it ordered and get them to do it and send it to me.
Yeah.
But it's called.
You need to set up a website so that people can go find your books easy instead of searching on Amazon. Do you have a website?
I have one that I started, my little stupid website that you made fun of me for.
No, I didn't make fun of you.
You did.
No, it was a long, like, gobbledygook URL. We need like andybooks.andy.com or andyrudd.com.
I don't have money to do that. Okay, let's see. Here is
we can do it for almost nothing.
Link, create hardcover. No, I want to like look at it. I can't view it on Amazon for some reason. So here, I'll show you what I'll show you this page. I'll show you my page. Make me moderator.
Yes, moderator.
Screen. They move the buttons around.
Then that's cool, right?
So that's what it's called right there. This is my bookshelf where all my books are. And what this omnibus is, a Tables Tale omnibus, what this is it's this book, volume 1.
Yeah.
It's volume 2. And it's volume 0 that I don't have up there. But
To get extra material.
yeah, so let me see, and I can tell you how many.
How much are you charging for it?
I don't know. It's costing me like almost $4 to print.
$15
Oh,
minimum.
no.
Come on,
No.
Deke. Come on, Deke.
No,
$15.
way too much.
No,
It cost me $3.69 to print.
what? Yeah. So make it $15.
Oh my God, nobody paid $15 for this. Here comes a train. I'm gonna
Wrong.
turn this
People
down for just a
would.
second.
People would. Especially if you told people that you were publishing a book. it's a
So
numbers game. The more people you tell, 90% maybe won't buy, but the 10% that do will be paying.
You see how close? God almighty, they know you're coming. We know, okay? Stop. God almighty. You see how close this is over here?
Yeah.
It's bothering me.
Well, okay, but
have
that's not in the that
I know,
that
but
gap.
look, that is. I see there's the seam. And so the page is going to come out.
Oh my
So
God, you're
you're
justifying everything.
do what?
Are you sinner justifying the whole thing?
No, I just want to make sure that it's. I've looked at every one of these pages.
So does it not do pictures, or are you not doing images, or is
I'm
it just
not doing images in this book?
Okay. No, what about tables, or like, do you need like tables for numbers?
Not in this one.
Just,
not in this one.
Just story.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are just stories. And I have my hang on, let me
Ruby, stop.
Ruby. Here's one that I am making. Oh no, here, I'll just bring up our the return. Here's one that will have tables and pictures, but this one will more than likely be a PDF that I share. Hang on, let me look at it a different way here. Can you see that? Hang on. Yeah. Okay, so this was the one that I made for us. And I've changed it a little bit. Those are my notes that I keep at the beginning. So episode 1, so it'll have, stuff like this. This is what this would look like, but it would be a bigger book. It would be, 6.5 by whatever. It's got my graphics that I don't have to pay anybody for. I own these graphics. These are mine. All of these, even this. So I've got it all separated to look like a book,
Yeah,
to
that
look
looks
like
great. So what does it cost to print something like that?
I don't know.
You haven't even looked at.
These were the ones that I started trying to print, and here's my new one. I've changed the name completely. It was called my Book of Holding, and now I'm calling it my Traveler's Guide to the Realm. Instead of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's my it's Traveler's Guide to the Realm. I don't see it anywhere, and I can't find it anywhere. I got a million of them here. But what I tried to do is that's the one that I tried to upload to Barnes and Noble, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have permission to use these fonts," and that's what me and you've been trying to figure out. And I think I finally figured it out, because my Blended Brews handbook. I'll show you this. I've been making this. How do I share this? Nope, that's the wrong one. So this handbook that I've been making here, you see, I've changed the font.
Yeah.
So this, what I had to do was, hang on, I'm trying to make sure you can see all this. Okay.
I can see.
Let me flip back. Okay. So I had to go over here to my style. Where's that? There it is. And I had to change all this coding in here.
Yep.
And I had to actually get down and look and find certain things like font size right there. I've got it at 1.5. I had to change that from 2. It was way too big. I changed it down to 1. Okay. So I changed it to 1.5. It ended up looking good. So hang on, let me scroll down. So where was that? It's my
So-
camera. My camera is covering
Hang
it
on
up.
2 seconds.
Find it again. Yeah, go ahead. Font size 1.5 right there it is. So if I go down to 1, it was just a little too. Oh, it's 1.8. 1.7 looks good. So this is a for if anyone is even watching, this is a oh, there's already one there. There it is. Why is it okay? Now that screwed all that up. No, let's take away these two. Let's just take away the whole column. And we can take away the picture because I didn't like that picture anyway. Tour La French. Let's put a column right there. That does not work, does it?
So you had to change your style, and did you have to change the font? And does this document load up to Amazon now?
I don't know if it does. I was honestly going to try to just change the font because I noticed that it changed the font when we and you finally figured it out.
Yeah.
And I was going to just find a third party, or just upload it somewhere just to be like, look, print this. I'm not trying to sell them. I want a hard copy for myself so that I can use it. Why is this? Oh, move my camera.
Well, as a last resort, you could export the PDF as images rather than text. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And
I just wonder how well that would print up.
You'd have to do it at high enough resolution. You'd have to do it like 1200 DPI. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what tool you have necessarily to do that, but 1200 DPI would look good. But you wouldn't have OCR. You wouldn't be able to search through the text in a digital format necessarily.
That's the drawback.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what I've been up to.
I've, like I said, mostly been on vacation. Last week, took the kids to Yogi Bear Park up in North Texas. And it's pretty cool. Like
I didn't even make a boo-boo remark on that. Like, I was restraining myself.
The thing is, it's called Yogi Bear Park, and there's a big Yogi Bear sign, and there's a few signs around that are like Yogi Bear, stuff. They have a Yogi Bear shop with Yogi Bear stuffies or whatever. But it's very clear that this giant park, which is a campsite, RV park, cabins, all of that, is independently owned and was originally something else, and they licensed Yogi Bear and slapped the Yogi Bear stickers on it. Now it's good, but it's very clear because I don't remember pirates being a theme in the Yogi Bear show, but this park had a giant water park that was Pirates Cove and had like a wave pool, not a wave pool, lazy river.
When you get a good deal, when you're in the water park business and you get a good deal on a couple of pirate themed water parks, maybe Yogi and Boo Boo, plunder the seven seas a little bit.
So there were in the backside there were like teepees, like a big 20-foot teepee, or there was a grain bin that was converted to like a little cabin, which is apparently cool. We met some people that had one and they were saying it was cool. There were covered wagons you could stay in, which I was like, that sounds terrible. That sounds real bad. There's no way that's got enough room in a covered wagon. There were regular cabins. You could park your own RV, or what we did, there was a building that had 10 cabins in it, and that building was a pirate ship. And so we stayed in the pirate ship. It was honestly pretty awesome.
I would have talked like a pirate the whole time.
Arr! I forgot to bring my eye patch. I needed an eye patch. But yeah, it was pretty cool. So mostly we've been doing that. And then during my goof off time, I was playing Batman Arkham Knight on
That's a good one.
Luna. You know, Amazon has like a video game controller and a service called Luna. That's Amazon. And you no console, no download on your computer. You're just playing through the browser and with the controller and through the browser. Arkham Knight, and it's like
It's a good one.
really good.
Yeah, Knights is a good, or Knight is a good game.
You know, I was like 30% through the game before I was like, oh, that's Robin. Oh, that's Jason Todd.
Nightwing.
Yeah. No, the Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight is Jason Todd instead of the Red Hood. And then later he gets the Red Hood helmet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. I was thinking of another game.
No, they have Nightwing in it. They have Robin. Pretty cool. And I really thought Barbara Gordon got killed. I was like, oh, geez, they killed her. It was fear gas. It wasn't, it was a hallucination. Spoilers. It's 10 years old. It's so good though. Okay, when you're playing a game, you know, you go from like, oh, this super rich, detailed environment, and then you're like, you go through a door and you're like, oh, this is obviously a holding screen where they're doing some sort of like, you know, little thing so that they can wipe the memory and load in this new area and make it look big again. It's so smooth and seamless. I was honestly impressed the whole time because you're flying over the whole city. It's super, super detailed. I don't know how they did it. It's amazing.
If you're seeing this and thinking, dude, if you played Red Dead Redemption 2 on high graphics on a computer, it would blow your mind.
Is there a Batmobile in that game?
And that game has been out for like 14 freaking years.
I know. I've heard of it.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be a game changer, especially if they add the AI in certain points. Me and one of my other video game buddies, Venom, and his buddies were talking about that specific game and adding AI. And where would you add the AI? Would you put it in every non-player character, or would you put it in certain specific non-player characters? You know, because the AI would completely transform your gaming experience, especially if every freaking non-player character on the street had AI.
The thing is, you can't really have a long form story using that because each AI character, they could randomly say some like stuff that's wild, and then it's like it doesn't make sense anymore. So in order to maintain coherence across a story where you have AI NPCs.
Your main AI NPCs that have something to do with the story would have a buttload of instructions.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but like say in Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption 2, in Red Dead Redemption 2, when you're walking and you bump to somebody, or in Grand Theft Auto, you're walking down the street and you just bump into some random person. What are you doing, Lily Boo?
She's not weird.
I like your glasses.
Okay, you can tell the joke, but you got to hurry because you guys are going to be late.
Should I get some glasses that color?
Here, Joe. Mom's calling.
Dad, why did they make this thing? Hi, Deacon.
Hi.
I got a joke.
Okay.
Why did Cinderella run away from the basketball?
I don't know.
Sorry. Why did Cinderella ruin the basketball game?
I don't know. Why did she ruin the basketball game?
Because she kept running away from the ball.
Hallelujah!
What?
All right, you got to go. You're going to be late. I love you, dear. Bye.
That's a good joke.
All
I
right,
forgot we got a joke coming up.
Yeah. Oh.
That might be the best joke of the day.
No, it really is. We're not going to beat that. Bye.
No, what I was saying is like, imagine you're Red Dead Redemption 2. I play all the time. Imagine you're trying to walk into the saloon and somebody's walking out at the same time and you bump.
Yeah.
Right now, that can cause certain things because you got where you can calm down the argument or, diffuse or, aggregate them and stuff like that. Well, what if that guy remembers? What if he goes and gets his buddies and they come back and start chasing you down, and it has nothing to do with anything from the story. It was just the fact that you bumped into this guy and you were a dick to him. And so because he's completely NPC and AI, he goes down the road and gets 4 or 5 of his buddy NPCs and they come back and beat the crap out of you. And it's completely AI driven.
I have a better idea. It's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think we can enhance it. This is what I'm saying. Back to the Future game with AI. You travel through time, and not only are you able to like select dialogue options, you can actually use your mic and just talk to the NPC, and the NPC will respond. So you can insult him, compliment, whatever. And then so you can like just go back in time and ruin somebody's day. And then you can travel forward in time and see what happened over the course of 60 years because you did that.
That would be really interesting.
Wouldn't that be neat?
I would like a Back to the Future game. That sounds really, you got my attention when you were like a Back to the Future game, go back and forth. I'm like, well, this sounds awesome. That you could do every bit of that right now.
Yes.
You could have a game where you go to 1955, 2025, 2125. Yeah.
You could go back in time. You could go back in time 30 years. And you can make your character hook up with your grandma. And then,
sorry, I was looking for.
And then you can travel forward in time and see the hellish apocalypse that you have caused.
Sounds awesome. My buddies are playing this Starship Troopers game. Did you watch that?
Starship Troopers from 1996,
Yeah.
97.
Do you love that movie like everybody else?
Love that movie. Everybody loves that movie. And it's not because of the booby scenes. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Although nobody's turning those away.
All those
can't watch that when you have kids. So
yeah,
there's a number of movies that there's a few movies that I've been like, oh my God, I can't wait to show my kid The Fifth Element. Well, oops, nope, never mind. Never mind, you can't watch this movie.
There's a lot of those 80s movies that are like that. You're like, oh, Stand By Me was such a great, and you get to the part and they start talking about all this. And you're like, I forgot about that part.
You're going to love this movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to Mars and he finds out, oh my God, oh no.
I forgot there was 3. What the hell were we talking about before? So I don't remember.
Back to the Future AI video game concept.
Starship Troopers. They play the Starship Troopers game, and you play. It's a multiplayer game, but you're all on the same team battling the bugs on different. And I watch them play sometimes. It looks fun. It's cross-platform too, so you can play.
Starship Troopers is another one of those things. It's like that was such an amazing first movie, and then they made other movies, and they're like, this is not.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter if you brought the cast back. It's not good.
That's one of those that
Uh-oh. One of us lost internet.
I think that
Yeah. You back? You back?
You back? Yeah, I'm back. I think Starship Troopers would be one of those where if they did a really good
One of us is having problems, Deke.
Shut up. I'm closing stuff.
Yeah, I think you got ads open. They should just have a website called ads.com, and you go there and it just stops your computer.
Don't suggest that crap.
Computer just stops. Loads all the ads at the same time.
All right. I've closed everything. Nothing up here has running ads. Unless it's Reddit.
All right.
All right. Well, I know you've had meetings, and your meeting
Yep.
times were changed all last week, and or the week before, and then you had a vacation and the car stuff. So I know that's why you've been.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna have to move out of my office here, out of my
Oh,
garage.
really?
I think I'm gonna have to take my desk upstairs and find a place inside because the humidity is like tearing my skin up. I got some sort of a
Oh,
skin condition, and the heat
no.
it's like okay in here, but it's bad. It's no good. So
It
I
was
may have
our
to change my location.
our heat index. Not yesterday, but the day before, Wednesday was 108. Our heat index was here in Kentucky. It's been
Yeah.
105 all week long.
Oof. It hasn't even got to hot season yet here. It's only
Yeah,
like 95,
no.
96. It's going to get
No.
up to like 105, 106 for real.
God.
But
Yeah,
we're only in June. It's only June.
it's gonna get hot in there with all those servers and stuff.
Yeah. All right, man. I got a joke. You got a joke?
Yep, I got one.
What do you call a fat psychic?
I don't know.
A fortune teller.
For-
1, 2, 3, 4.
You're so mean. You're going to hell for that one. Hey, did you hear that the guy who came up with the concept of wind chill has died?
No.
Yeah,
What?
he was 95, but he felt like 86.
Oh. All right. Let's try again next Monday.
All right.
Politicians and talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring facts into the light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teeth. Essay for a comment, he said no. Watch now, the internet dad show. Subscribe quick, Squid Monsters on the way. Inspire with us tomorrow's news today. Oh yeah.